What you reap is what you sow.
All right, we're back at the Warrior Fight Store in Pickering, Ontario with Sam Hands of Stout. Sam, there's a lot going on right now. Have you spoken to Joe Silva at all about your next fight?
No, there's so many guys in the UFC right now, and they've got their next couple cards all mapped out. I think they got all their fights already scheduled. So I think my next fight will depend on what happens in the lightweight division within the next couple shows.
All right. Well, it's tough economic times for everybody right now. How important is it for you and other fighters to have sponsors that you can kind of work with?
It's crucial. It's really hard to keep up a training regime, especially if you have to work a job on the side. So, the sponsorships are a big part of our livelihood, and without them, we wouldn't be able to train the way we do.
Well, you seem to be doing pretty good. You've got 3 fight of the nights for yourself. What can you do to kind of have a good fight every time you go out?
I just go in with the mentality. I just say to myself, I'm going to go out there and have fun. And, for me, having fun is standing up and banging it out. So, it's just worked out that way. And for me, the money's not, the money for the bonuses isn't in my head when I go to fight. It's just go out there and perform as best, to the best of your abilities.
Have a good time, eh?
That's right.
Now, recently, there's been quite a few Canadian fighters specifically released, Jason Day, Jason McDonald, as well as David Loiseau. Is that detrimental to Canadian fighters, or is this just a case of that's how it goes?
Yeah, that's how it goes. Like if you want to stay, you want to stay in the big show, you got to come out and perform every single time. You can't come out and squeak your way through a fight or win some and lose some. You got to come out and put on a show every single time.
So are fighters nervous before they go in that this could be the last one? Is that something that goes through a lot of guys' heads as you talk to other fighters?
Yeah, there's some guys that I've talked to that say if I lose this fight I'm getting cut, and I was in that mindset before this fight too. I knew I had to go out and perform, or it was probably the end of the road for me for a while, and I was coming off 2 losses before this last fight. They were both close decisions, but they're losses nonetheless. So I knew I had to go in and perform.
So you've trained in the past with Mark Hominick and Chris Horodecki.
Still
training with them.
Yeah.
Anything that's going on with them that you know of? They seem to be doing pretty well for themselves. Have they been trying to move around to the bigger shows? I know they've had affliction.
Yeah. Well, they're both just trying to. Mark hasn't fought in so long just because due to injuries and stuff like that. He's just excited to fight anywhere really, and they're still signed with Affliction. And and Affliction's doing some co-promotions with other organizations. So I think Chris's next fight will be with that co-promotion, and Mark, I think he's getting ready to fight in XMMA in Montreal coming up shortly. So it'll be a nice little tune-up fight for him.
Yeah, well, you spoke about XMMA. You're 13-1 in Montreal. How much does it mean to have a place like Quebec as the fight central of Canada?
It's great for me. I've been fighting there most of my pro career, and the fans there are unbelievable. They've always been really supportive of me, really, really good to me, and to be able to go and have the biggest night of my life at UFC 97 and have it be in Montreal was just a dream come true for me.
What about your home province, Ontario?
That would be a real dream. There was a lot of talk of it at this last UFC in Montreal. There was a lot of talk about when it's going to come to Ontario, and Dana White, sounds really confident that it's going to be there by at the latest 2010. So they'll be doing a show in Toronto.
Well, if you were to fight in Toronto, what would be the ideal fight for you?
That'd be a great place to do the Stout Fisher rubber match, I think.
That would be a great fight. Well, from the Warrior Fight Store, we're here with Sam Hands of Stout. We're in Pickering, Ontario.